The last 3 months of the year is usually when all the new bikes and new tech start to get released for the following season. So if there are any product managers watching, here is my wish list for all of the new cycling tech I want in 2025. Greenwashing is pretty apparent in cycling today. Plenty of brands are trying to find ways to make their packaging more recyclable, use sustainable materials, and improve their manufacturing processes. It'll be of no surprise to anybody that creating new bikes and new gear is not the most environmentally friendly thing to do. And it's only when we start to replace miles that we would have covered in a car, but doing them on a bike instead is when we can actually start to have a positive impact. This is why we're always really big advocates of buying secondhand rather than buying new. But that to one side, we think it would be great to see more brands adopt solar technology. Again, there is probably an argument for and against the creation of solar panels. However, the benefits of longer lasting batteries are undoubtable. Charging less and harnessing the sun's energy is an incredibly convenient thing to do. And it seems one of the big brands out there has been thinking the same thing, because we recently discovered that SRAM has put in a patent application which would see them adding solar panels to mudguards with the aim of charging its interchangeable Axis batteries. If successful, this would be great news for those who run the SRAM system and do have a bit of battery anxiety. SRAM's patent aside though, I'd love to see more solar tech in places like head units. Garmin, of course, already currently runs the technology, but if Wahoo and Brighton, among others, could adopt it too, then I think everybody stands to win. We caught wind of Shimano launching Cues last year. Shimano Cues is a range of group set components that will replace their current bottom-end group sets across its drop bar and flat bar offerings. This is a huge change for the brand, and one which we believe will definitely be a good one. It will simplify ranges and make availability of parts much easier. However, it has been a while since that initial announcement, and we're very keen to start seeing these new group sets on bikes. The good news though is that recently a German bike brand accidentally listed one of their new 2025 bikes which was seen to be fitted with the drop bar variant of Shimano Cues. So hopefully that means the new entry-level components are going to be with us very soon. Since this really is a wish list, I'm gonna throw something a bit wacky out there. I would really like to see one of the big component brands create one last mechanical rim brake group set which acts as the full stop in the sentence of that line of components. One last group set which demonstrates the best of what that brand can really create. If they can pull upon their decades of research, product testing and innovation, we could all enjoy the swan song to an entire era of cycling. My only caveat is that this group set would continue to be made for at least 20 years. Perhaps in limited numbers, but there wouldn't be a risk of it disappearing anytime soon. It's no secret that there are a lot of cyclists out there who still run rim brake mechanical bikes. And I hate that we could end up in a world where perfectly good bikes are coming off the road simply because the parts aren't available to keep them well serviced. I also believe that as time goes on, the demand for simpler bikes will return. Many people are starting to experiment with film photography. Record sales are back on the up, so I would not be surprised if there's a swell in demand for bikes that don't require a suite of batteries and software updates to enable you to ride it. So, Shimano, I'm looking at you, why not show us what you can really do? One of my favourite innovations from Canyon is its adjustable width bars. I think their CP18 Cockpit is good for a number of reasons, but mainly because it allows customers to experiment with handlebar width. I wonder, is there a world in which an adjustable stem length could also be added into an integrated cockpit, even if it's just 10 or 15 millimeters? If it could be created, and it was safe, then it would help customers to dial in their fit and experiment with what does and does not work. The alternative to this though is to go and see a bike fitter and have the correct bar and stem combo fitted. But this doesn't always cater for changes in flexibility or changes in riding style. On the theme of cockpits, a real bugbear of mine as new bikes continually get released is how many still come with surprisingly wide handlebars. We've shown that narrow bars are not only faster, but stock bars are generally too wide for the size of bike to which they are fitted. When looking at race bikes specifically, bike brands need to remember that wind tunnel sculpted aero tubing will never be as effective for reducing watts compared to reducing a rider's frontal area. Now, I am actually very confident that they do know this, and it makes me wonder, are they deliberately fitting wide bars to make you buy another pair, or is it purely a cost-saving exercise? My guess is that all the top race bikes by themselves have become really close in terms of aero performance. Meaning, when the brands get round to releasing the new models, many of them will feature narrower bar widths, which will then, of course, come along with some big claimed wattage savings. I may be being cynical. However, I would love to see this become a reality and see the end of handlebars, which are simply too wide to be fitted to off-the-shelf bikes. Industry-wide standard adoption is a pretty rare thing. And the only one that springs to mind right now is bottle cage bolt spacing. But how good would it be if there was a widespread adoption of either the Garmin quarter turn mount or the GoPro mount, or a mix of the two for on-bike accessories? If all light brands and saddle brands agree to feature the mount, it could make attaching lights, cameras and radars so much easier and visually cleaner. There are small 3D printing companies that do create custom mounts for things just like this, but if this kind of innovation could be happening at the manufacturer level, then I think we would all be better off. Sadly though, I know that this one is certainly wishful thinking. I think that it is insane that in what is nearly 2025, we still seemingly cannot get hold of a heart rate monitor that isn't prone to water ingress, or should I say, sweat ingress. I have had so many heart rate monitors die from all the big brands purely because they've got sweaty and the salts have corroded the internals. I put it to one of the big brands, be it Garmin, Polar, Wahoo, or literally anybody else. Please, can you create a chest strap which can actually be used by people who do get sweaty? Ideally with a rechargeable battery and has a removable sensor module allowing me easily to put the strap itself into the washing machine. In my mind, it is not a huge ask. Surely that has to be possible. Lastly, and I'm sure I won't be alone in this, and it's not strictly a new piece of tech, but instead the price of it, the price of cycling has become silly. And if we can start to see price drops or a resetting of what is regarded as normal, would be brilliant. I hope more brands start to challenge the status quo and release new product lines which deliver good quality products at affordable prices. It's no surprise why Van Rysel is gaining so much attention with their budget performance products, and I hope more brands follow suit.